Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Miss Brandi, and I'm here today from the Cameron Park Zoo. And so I brought some fun things for us to talk about, and we're going to learn some cool things about animals. And then I have some real animals for y'all to meet. Is anybody excited to meet some animals and maybe touch one? So what we want to do, I'm going to give y'all a chance to touch them in a little while, but we want to be very quiet and talk quietly because some of the animals that we have here today, they can hear really, really well, and they get scared if they hear a lot of noise. So if we stay quiet and keep our voices low, then the animals will stay calm, and then I can let y'all have a chance to touch them. Okay, sound good? So everybody gonna be good listeners? Okay, so raise your hand and let me have 3 people tell me, has anyone been to the Cameron Park Zoo, and what is your favorite zoo animal? You like the lions. He likes the lions.
The zebra.
The zebra, how fun. What about you? The monkeys. So y'all have seen some really cool animals, and today we're gonna move on so we have time to meet the animals in a little while. But today we're going to talk about how animals have different parts of their bodies that are made to help them survive every day, just like we do. What is a part of our body that might help us to survive?
Lungs.
Our lungs,
Soil.
I'm sorry?
Soil.
I can't hear. Soil. The soil helps everything to live and survive. What's another part of our body? Our bones. What about our hands and our feet? In our hearts. And so we have parts of our body that help us to survive, and animals are like us. They have parts that are made to help them to survive. And so we're going to learn a little bit about that today. So we're going to start, and we're going to meet my friend Mr. Monkey. Monkey says, hi everybody. Hello. Does anybody notice a part of the monkey's body that might help him to survive? What do you notice?
Tail.
His tail. How could his tail help him? What do you think he does with his tail? Swing on the tree. So he can use it a little bit like a hand, kind of like we use our hands to hold on to things like branches in his food. Maybe a banana. It hang upside down, and he can use it to keep his balance. What's another part of his body that we notice? His mouth. He has a mouth like we do to help him to eat, right? What do you think he might eat? Bananas. What's another part of his body? What do you notice about him? His eyes. He has eyes so he can see just like we can.
His heart.
He has a heart like we do.
His hands.
His hands. He has hands like we do. What about, does anyone notice his feet? What does he use his feet for? What does he use his feet for? Walking. He'll use them to walk, maybe to climb in the trees. Do we use our feet to climb in the trees? Not usually. So his feet. And to jump. So his feet are a little bit different from ours. What about his hair? How do y'all think his hair helps him? Keeps him warm. It keeps him warm because when it's cold outside, he doesn't go put on a coat like we do, does he? No. So his fur keeps him warm. So one of the first things we noticed about him was his tail. And a lot of animals have tails, right? A lot of different animals have tails. So do they all use their tails to hold on to branches and to swing in the trees? No, only monkeys. What about an elephant? Does an elephant use his tail to swing in the trees? No. So we're going to learn. I have a book about tails. You want to tell the monkey bye? Bye, monkey. So we are going to read a book about tails and learn how animals' tails help them in all different ways. Would y'all like to hear this book? Yeah? This is called If I Had a Tail. So I am going to read y'all some clues and show you some pictures. And if you think you know what animal it is, raise your hand and I'll call on you, okay? If I had a tail like a log afloat, a gray-green tail to help me swim, I would snap my tail like a cracking whip. I would be, what do you think it is? It's a lot like an alligator. I think you're right. I thought it was a crocodile. You were right and I was wrong. It is an alligator. So how do you think an alligator uses his tail? To swim. He uses his tail to swim and to change directions in the water. So he uses his tail differently from the monkey, doesn't he? Yeah. If I had a tail, shh, don't tell yet, wait. If I had a tail a tail like a snuggly slipper, a beautiful bushy black and white tail, then I could scare a grizzly bear. What do y'all think? What do you think this animal?
It's a skunk.
You don't think it's a giraffe?
No.
Let's see.
It's a skunk.
It's a skunk. A skunk has a smelly tail, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he uses his tail to scare off bigger animals. He uses his tail for protection.
And he goes up people.
Now he can scare off people too, that's right. Now this is a really hard one, so y'all listen real carefully. This is a very hard one. If I had a tail like a day-old pancake, a brown scaly tail shaped like my bill, then I could duck down underwater. So this is a furry animal, but it has a bill like a duck. Do you think you know? What do you think?
Me?
Uh-huh, you.
It's a beaver.
That's a really good guess. Good guess. It's not a beaver, though. It looks a little like a beaver, but has a bill like a duck. What do you think?
Platypus.
A platypus. Not very many people guess that. Have y'all heard of a platypus?
Yeah.
So a platypus can use.
Platypus on the
We'll try to save some room for stories at the end because we want to move along because everybody wants to meet the animals, right? So let's hear about a few more tales. If I had a tail like a green speckled whip, so brittle it breaks when grabbed by a hawk, then I'd scurry away and grow a brand new tail. What's an animal that can break off their tail?
snake.
That's a good guess. It's kind of like a snake, only it has legs.
Lizard.
A lizard. That was a good guess, though, because a lizard is a lot like a snake, but he has legs. Did y'all know that a lizard can break his tail off?
Yeah.
If another animal grabs him by the tail, he can break it off.
And then it goes red.
Then he goes a brand new one, so he uses his tail to escape. Now, this is an animal that uses his tail a lot like the monkey, but it's not a monkey. Let's find out what it is. If I had a tail that gripped like a hand, then I could go down a tree nose first, or take a rest with my head hanging low. What do you think? Not very many people get that either. You're right, it is a possum. Y'all see that possum? So he uses his tail a lot like the monkey does, doesn't he? The possum and the monkeys both use their tails to hold onto tree branches and to keep their balance.
Possums could go to sleep on a tree branch.
Sometimes they do go to sleep in the trees, you're right. If I had a tail like a colorful fan with plumes that unfold to glitter and shimmer, sprinkled with eyes watching you, watching me, I would be, what do y'all think? This is a bird with a really colorful tail.
A turkey.
That's a good guess. It's kind of like a turkey, but it has more colors.
Peacock.
A peacock, you're right.
Peacocks are my favorite.
How do y'all think peacocks use their tails?
That's my favorite.
How do peacocks use their tails?
They spread them out.
They spread them out, and they use them to show off. They spread them out and show all those pretty colors, those pretty colored feathers in their tail. Is that your favorite bird? If I had a tail as tough as armor, a wraparound tail with bumpy, sharp spines, then I'd tie up to coral as dinner drifts by. So this is another animal that uses its tail to hold on to things. What do you think?
A seahorse.
A seahorse, y'all are smart. Not very many people guess all of these. Y'all are smart. So we talked about, very quiet. We talked about 3 animals that use their tails to hold on to things. Who remembers what one of them was?
A peacock.
Not a peacock. Good guess, though. What's an animal? That's a good guess. An animal that uses its tail to hold on to things, like a hand a little.
A possum.
A possum. Very good. What else?
The monkey.
The monkey and the seahorse. So we learned about 3 animals that use their tails to hold on to things. Now you take a turn and imagine a tail. Just begin with these words. If I had a tail. So raise your hand if you would like to have a tail. Who would like to have a tail? What kind of a tail would you have?
A peacock.
A peacock tail. How pretty. What kind of a tail would you have?
A monkey.
A monkey tail.
Wait, no. I meant a possum.
A possum tail. What kind of a tail would you have? You want to think about it?
Dog.
A dog tail. You could wag your tail and tell people when you were happy. So dogs use their tails also. What kind of a tail would you have? A peacock tail. Well, I want to show y'all. I want to show y'all something. Do y'all want to know what kind of a tail I would have if I had a tail? I would have an elephant tail. And I have some hairs from a real elephant tail. Have y'all seen the elephants at the zoo, anybody, or maybe seen pictures? Well, these are hairs. How do y'all think an elephant uses its tail? What do you think? Maybe to pick up water? What else? Would another guess? Do y'all think they swing their tails?
Yeah.
So what if a fly lands on them? Do they have a hand to brush it off?
Yeah.
No. So their tail is their fly swatter. Do y'all want a feel of it? Okay. It might surprise you how it feels. So what we want to do, everybody show me 2 fingers. We want to touch real gently with just a couple of fingers. Okay. Does it feel slippery? So what did it feel like? Did it? It feels like a wire. If you've touched a cat or a dog, it doesn't feel like a cat or a dog's hair, does it? It feels like a wire. So that would make a good fly swatter, wouldn't it? That'd be a cool tail to have. So we've talked about a lot of tails, haven't we? But animals have other parts of their body that help them also. So I want to show y'all one more thing that I have. Raise your hand if you know what these are. Let's see, what are these? They're made out of bone, but they're not bones, but they're made out of the same thing.
Elephant trunk.
That's a good guess.
Horns.
They're a lot like horns. These are antlers, and they're a lot like horns. But when an animal has horns, they keep their horns their entire life. And when an animal has antlers, they shed their antlers, so they fall off every year, and then they grow new antlers. So these are some antlers from a deer. How do y'all think that a deer's antlers help him? How could they help him?
They bathe them by scratching them.
So they could protect themselves. They could use them for protection.
And them could help you get clothes away.
Help you to keep enemies away or other animals. What if there's a branch in their way? Do they have hands to move the branch out of their path?
They run it over like this.
So they could use their antlers to move things out of their path. Let's hear one
They
more.
could also fight with them.
They could use them to protect themselves with other animals. Yeah. Yeah. So y'all have done really great today. Y'all have done really great. Now we looked at an elephant tail. Let's look at one more. Let's look at the rest of the elephant. Here's the rest of the elephant. So we talked about the hairs from his tail. So does anyone notice another part of his body besides his tail that might help him?
His trunk.
His trunk. What would he use his trunk for? What do you think he would use his trunk for?
To eat peanuts.
To eat peanuts, maybe to pick up food and bring it to his mouth. Very good.
His horns.
His horns, and on an elephant we call those his tusks.
Yeah.
So he
They
can
push over trees.
he can use them to push tree branches out of his way or even to dig for water. So his tusks help him. What else? What do you notice about him?
His feet to wake stuff if stuff is in his way.
His feet, he has very strong feet. Now, we looked at the monkey's feet, and we said his feet helped him to climb in the trees. But an elephant doesn't use his feet to climb in the trees, does he? No. His feet are made to help him to walk on the ground, sometimes in the desert. Let's hear, does anyone else notice maybe one more part about him?
His chest.
His chest. He has a chest and a body like we do. Very good. What about, do y'all think his ears could help him?
Yeah. He could heal people.
He can hear, and he can also, do y'all know he can spread out his ears and it helps to cool his body off. So he uses his ears in some really cool ways.
It's like a fan.
Yeah, kind of like a fan.
Cover itself up.
He could cover himself up. Y'all have done great. Would y'all like to meet some real animals now? And maybe see what they have that might help them to survive? Okay, we are gonna start, we're gonna meet Wilma. Her name is Wilma. Okay. And she is a bearded dragon. This is Wilma. She's a bearded dragon, and she has a home just like we have homes. Bearded dragons have homes. They are from the deserts in Australia. And she has something really cool. Now, we talked about some animals that had fur and trunks and tails. She has a tail too. How do y'all think she might use her tail? How do you think she does like to climb trees, and so her tail kind of helps her to keep her balance, maybe when she's climbing and when she's walking through the desert. What about her scales? Do y'all think the scales on her body protect her? Maybe protect her from the sand or from getting scratched in the desert? So now, what do y'all think? Is she a mammal or a reptile? She's very good. She's a reptile. Do y'all see the reason she's called a bearded dragon? Does everybody see around her throat and her neck how she has kind of some spiky looking scales? Y'all see? If she's frightened by another animal, then she can flare out those scales and make herself look bigger and scarier to try to frighten off the other animal that might be chasing her. And when she flares her scales out, it looks like a big beard. So that's why we call her a bearded dragon. So her scales around her throat, her spiny scales, that's part of her body that helps her to survive. Okay, so everybody, one more time, show me 2 fingers. And I'm going to bring her around and let y'all touch her real gently just on her back. Very good.
It's alive.
Y'all are doing great. She is. She's alive. She's a real animal.
That feels weird.
Does it feel weird? Y'all are doing wonderful. Thank y'all. Great.
Ow, that hurt.
She felt kind of like sandpaper. So, very, very quiet. Somebody tell me, raise your hand if you're listening. Everybody's listening. Somebody tell me what she felt like. What did she feel like?
Spiky.
Did she feel kind of spiky? Yeah, she has kind of some scales on her body that protect her. What do you think she felt like?
Rough.
She felt kind of rough. Has anybody ever felt sandpaper? She feels kind of a little like sandpaper. What do you think she felt like? Kind of a little sharp, her scales, Now, what does somebody think she likes to eat? What do you think she might eat?
Dead animals.
She likes to, sometimes she eats insects, so she likes to eat insects, and she also likes vegetables. So she'll eat insects like crickets, and she'll also eat vegetables like lettuce and carrots. So we say she's an omnivore because she eats meat and vegetables. Have y'all heard the word omnivore? Have y'all heard carnivore?
Yeah.
A carnivore eats meat, and an herbivore eats vegetables. Cool. And so she's an omnivore because she eats meat and vegetables. Do y'all see, she has a mouth to eat with just like we do. Do y'all see her, everybody see her face? See? Do y'all see her claws? Her claws are part of her body that helps her. Sometimes she's a reptile, so she likes to lay out in the sun to get warm if she's cold. But sometimes if she gets too warm, she's cold-blooded very good. So y'all are smart. She could dig a hole. Very good. Yeah, she usually likes to lay out in the sun to warm up. But if she gets too hot, you are right. She will use her claws to dig a hole and go underground to cool off. So she's pretty cool, isn't she? Did y'all enjoy meeting her? Okay. She's not trained, but she's just a very quiet, shy animal. So y'all did great. Y'all were very quiet and gentle with her. Y'all did great with her. So we're going to move on and meet another animal. Okay, so this one was a reptile. So let's see what we have next. Let's see if this is another reptile. This is a guinea pig. A guinea pig. His name is Shemp. His name is Shemp. So is he a reptile? No, what is he?
Guinea pig.
He's a guinea pig, and a guinea pig's not a reptile, so what would they be maybe if they're not? A mammal. He's a mammal. Does anyone notice a part of... He's a mammal, that's right. Does anyone notice part of his body that might help protect him? His ears. He has ears like we do so that he can hear. What else?
Fur.
His fur. How would his fur help him?
Whenever he's cold, he can
His fur keeps him warm.
His wool.
We call it fur on him, but you're right, he has fur to keep him warm.
His mouth too.
His mouth, and there's something interesting about his mouth. He has very sharp teeth. He has teeth like we do, but he likes to eat really tough vegetables like carrots and sometimes different kinds of roots of plants. And so he has really sharp teeth that are made to help him grind up the types of food that he likes to eat. And his food, his teeth never stop growing. Do our teeth stop growing? No. Yeah, they do. That when they get to a certain size, they quit growing. His teeth never quit growing. They grow forever. And so he chews on things like wood or maybe pieces of bark to help keep his teeth ground down so that they don't get too long. What do y'all, it's part of trees, you're right. What do y'all think he might like to eat besides carrots? What else do y'all think he might like?
He really looks like nice because he really looks like a bunny.
He does look a little bit like a bunny, only with short ears. You're right, he does. What else do y'all think he might like to eat? He does like to exercise, he does. Do y'all think he might like lettuce? He likes all kinds of vegetables. He does drink water just like we do. He drinks water. He likes broccoli sometimes. He likes all kinds of vegetables. Do y'all want to touch him? Okay, so we're going to do just 2 fingers again real gently just on his back. Okay. Very good. Y'all are doing wonderful.
So soft.
He is soft, isn't he? Very gently, very gently.
Soft.
He is soft. So did he feel different from the bearded dragon? He feels like a warm blanket. So he was softer than the bearded dragon, wasn't he? Does anyone have a question about him? Not a story right now, but just a question about him. Do you have a question about him?
He likes people.
He's kind of sociable. He likes people, but we have to be real gentle with him. He does like people. Do you have a question about him?
His fur is like a cover.
His fur's like a cover for him. It keeps him warm. Do you have a question? You want to think about it?
He like the sometimes he like the live in the forest.
Sometimes he gets down and exercises on the floor, but he can run really, really fast. So we're not going to put him down because he would run so fast I might not be able to catch him. Did y'all enjoy meeting Shemp? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. Do y'all want to meet one more animal? Or, okay. 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 I have one more. That's all I have is just one more. Okay. So we met a reptile, and what did we say the guinea pig was? Was the guinea pig a reptile? The guinea pig's a mammal. So we have one more animal. Okay. This is the last one. Okay. He looks like a turtle, but he's not a turtle. Does anyone have a guess?
He's a snapping turtle.
He's not a snapping turtle. What do you think he is? That's okay. What do you think?
Do he live in the water in the zoo?
I'll tell you about that. That's a good question. You're right, he's a reptile. You're right. And he is a tortoise. So he's a lot like a turtle, but he's a little bit different. He's a Texas tortoise. So if he's a Texas tortoise, where do y'all think he's from? Texas. He's from Texas, okay? Now, we have a friend that asked if he lives in water at the zoo, okay? Now, he's not a turtle. We said he's a tortoise. Now, there's something different. Does everybody see his feet? And his name is Fozzie. Do y'all see his feet? Has anyone ever seen a turtle's feet up close? Well, if you've ever seen a turtle's feet up close, they're kind of webbed. They look a little bit like a duck's feet. So a turtle's feet are made to help them to live in the water because they like to live more in ponds and in places that have water. But Fozzie, he's a tortoise, and so he likes to live on the land. So that was a good question that you had. So he might, but he likes to live on land. And so y'all notice that his feet are not webbed. They're made for living on the land.
He live on both.
He can go in the water, you're right. But he really likes to live on the land. Does everybody see his toenails, his claws? How do y'all think his claws might help him? Is that part of his body that helps him?
To scratch the ground.
To scratch the ground,
And to swim better. Keep
They might help him. He likes to dig holes. He likes to live in desert areas and in dry, grassy areas. So he likes to kind of dig shallow holes called pallets. Very good. Yes, he could dig holes in the ground to help cool himself off. What's another part of his body we noticed that would help him? Let's see. What do you think? What do you notice? His shell. How does his shell help him? How does his shell help him?
So he could go inside his shell to sleep.
He can go inside his shell to sleep. You're right. Or if,
Also, an animal is trying to get him.
for protection. He can go inside of his shell for protection. Do y'all want to feel of his shell? Okay. I'm going to bring him around and let y'all feel just real gently. Okay. He could go into a hole in the ground and then go inside of his own shell, so he'd be extra protected, wouldn't he? So I'm going to let y'all touch him real gently. Y'all are doing great with the animals. Y'all have done wonderful.
His shell's a little hard.
His shell's kind of hard. So that's a good protection for him if he has a hard shell, isn't it?
It is hard.
Why his legs look so squeezed in?
He's just kind of got him pulled into his shell right now.
Hey, fella. Hey, fella. Because he's real.
He is real. He's a real live animal.
I don't want to touch.
You don't want to touch him? Okay. That would be fun, wouldn't it? That would be fun to be able to keep one. Do you have animals at home? Animals are fun, aren't they? Hold on just a minute. Let's wait for it. That would be fun. But they live at the zoo. They have a home just like we have a home, and their home is at the zoo. So I have to take them. I have to take them back to their home where they're going to have lunch. I know you would. I can tell you really would. Do y'all want to see him walk just a little bit? Okay. So what I need is for everybody to sit down real still. Okay. We're just going to watch him walk, but if we move in towards him, it could scare him. So we don't want to get up and move towards him. We just want to watch him. Okay? Let's see. Do y'all think he walks fast or slow?
Slow.
He walks different than we do, doesn't he?
He walks a little bit fast. Look like a zoo.
Do we have a home?
Look like a zoo.
Does he have a home at the zoo? Yes, he does. He has a home at the zoo where he gets fed and stays warm and dry.
How big can he get?
He's a Texas tortoise, and that's about as big as they get. We have a kind of tortoise at the zoo called the Galapagus Tortoise, and they're the ones you see that get real giant. So he can live to be about 60 years old. The big Galapagus Tortoise can live to be older than that. Let's have y'all back up. We don't want to scare him. So do y'all think, can he come out of his shell? He can't. He can't come out of his shell. He keeps the same shell. He's born with it, and he keeps the same shell his whole life. We're just going to watch him. We're just going to watch him. They keep their same shell their whole life. So he carries his house on his back. Do we carry our house on our back? No. That would be too heavy, wouldn't it? Is he fast or slow? He's slow.
He's a little fast.
So is he faster than you thought he would be? And you know, remember we said his feet were made for living on the land? So he's a little bit faster than a turtle.
I want a Texas turtle.
He's a Texas tortoise. Do y'all want to tell him bye? Bye. Bye. He says bye. Oops. Do we have a next class lined up to come in? Okay. Y'all did really great today. Did y'all enjoy meeting the animals? Yeah. Let me have just a couple people tell me, did anyone have a favorite animal that they met? What was your favorite animal?
It was the guinea pig and the turtle.
The guinea pig. What was your favorite animal?
The lizard.
The lizard. What about you?
It's not what I wanted to like an animal.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to tell you tortoises and turtles. When if somebody holds a turtle right by their neck, and then they can like reach back because they have a long neck.
You're right. Very good. So their neck's a part of their body that helps them. What was your favorite animal that you saw?
The guinea pig.
The guinea pig. Everybody wants to tell their favorite animal. So how about as y'all are leaving, I'll stand by the door and everybody tell me your favorite animal that you saw today, okay? Does that sound good? Your favorite animal?
The guinea pig and the turtle.
Those were pretty cool. You liked all of them.
Guinea pig and the turtle.
You liked all of them. What was your favorite animal?
The bearded dragon.
The bearded dragon. What about you? What was your
The
favorite?
bearded dragon and the guinea pig and the Texas tortoise.
You liked all of them. What was your favorite animal?
All of them.
You liked all of them. What about you?
And all of them. I like all of them too.
That would be fun. I didn't bring any penguins with me. That would have been fun though. What was your favorite?
Do you have a monkey, the little one?
We have a monkey at the zoo you can come see. Do you like monkeys? Yeah.
Me too.
Did you have a favorite animal that you saw?
All of them.
You liked all of them. What was your favorite one?
Turtle.
The turtle. Did you have a favorite one?
The tortoise.
The tortoise. What was your favorite?
The guinea pig.
The guinea pig. What about you?
The tortoise.
The tortoise. Did you have a favorite animal? What was your favorite animal?
of them.
You liked all of them. What was your favorite animal?
The guinea pig,
The
tortoise, and
The bearded dragon. You liked all of them. What did you like?
all of them.
All of them. They were fun, weren't they? What did you like?
All of them.
You liked all of them. What about you?
I like the lizard and the guinea pig.
The lizard and the guinea pig.
Texas turtle.
And the Texas turtle. What did you like?
The guinea pig and
You liked the guinea pig and the lizard. How cool. Well, y'all did great. Thank y'all for being a good audience, and I hope that y'all had fun.
Thank you. Say thank you to Miss Brandi.
Thank you.
No problem. Y'all have a happy day.